After CLG released a video of team meeting earlier this week, some of the community felt that it was unfair to the players involved. As a pro player yourself, what is your perspective on this?
Yeah, so when I saw the video, I was pretty surprised that, like, first of all, it was like a sponsored video. It was kind of out of nowhere, and I was surprised how like the news was given. It was like right after a match when people were feeling down. I would at least expect like people like then go back to their like practice area or office facility and then have like more like separate talk. But I definitely think it was a bit off, and it kind of sucks for the players that or like the org even like they have to go through all like this public stuff. But yeah, I think it's just a bit suck situation for everyone.
Okay. And then the next question is also from Envin, but from John. Do you have any thoughts you'd like to share on Demonte's addition to CLG? How does he compare with Pobelter, and how will this change affect the team?
Yes, as far as I know, Demonte is a player who wants to roam a lot and like play early proactive champions. But today, it seemed like he didn't have like the matchup to do that particular thing. So it was hard to kind of tell um, what how like in terms of our match, like the difference between Demonte and Blue. But I think for the future, it might be useful. Since CLG is a really proactive team early, maybe champion pool stuff or like it's a more on theme player for them. So maybe in the future they could try to play it off the early game and try to snowball a lot harder with that.
Okay, those are all the pre-submitted questions. We'll now open up the floor to live questions. Please raise your hand and I'll call your name. You can go ahead, Jacob.
Hi, Tactical. I'm just wondering how it is for you as obviously like an AD carry in this meta like is not great anyway, but when calls roaming and stuff and you're just left solo in lane, how do you like go about playing those lane matchups? I know you felt really confident today and got that 1v1 kill. And then generally just how are you feeling about the AD carry meta right now?
Yeah, so generally when core does go to roam and leaves me to 1v2, it's usually calculated. Like in this game, for example, Nautilus had no flash and he's exhaust, which is lower kill threat on me, and Ziggs doesn't have the best free first base, so that's why he was able to roam for so long. I don't mind it as long as because I know every time core roams, there's like a reason for it, and there's usually an advantage we'll get, and we don't lose anything, so I don't mind it. And sorry, what was like the second part of the question?
Just how you're feeling about the AD carry meta at the minute.
Um, Honestly, to me, the 80 carry meta is getting kind of boring a little bit. I've been playing Varus for a while now, and yeah, I feel like I understand how it feels when the jungle meta is playing Sejuani and every team has just locked in Sejuani because of how good it is. But um, I'd say it's like 80 carry. It's pretty. It's not that diverse because I think a lot of the drafts are on top side right now. So 80 carry is like the filler position. Like Varus is a good CC helper for a team. Like Kalista is also an initiator or helping like enable your top side for like early dives or something. So it's not like there's many like OP picks right now. So it's like open in the regard where there's no OP pick, but then at the same time the game's revolving around like being able to play with the team.
Duckling, you can go.
Hi, yeah. I was just wondering how you felt about how stats are used on the LCS broadcast and just in the overall community in terms of player performance and how player performance is evaluated.
So I think stats can be a decent indicator on how someone is performing. Though it can always depend like case by case because there are sometimes very unique and random games, but I wouldn't say how you value a player should solely be based off stats. Like some players, they just bring a lot to the team, and a lot of people outside might not know. Like for example, if let's say Core wasn't playing as well individually, but he always does, just as an example. But then he didn't have the greatest stats, but as a teammate, he provides a lot of like leadership, communication, trying to keep everyone on the same page, and like stuff like that. So I feel like maybe stats can be used as a partial indicator for judging individual like skill level, especially for like the goal difference 10, CS difference at 10 stats. But other than that, I think that's it.
Jacob, you can go.
I was just wondering how you're feeling personally, because I know in Spring Split you talked a lot about being like burned out from the lock-in and stuff, and I think it was really nice to hear like another pro player being very open. So I kind of wanted to know how your mental is, how you're feeling at the minute, and like how you're personally dealing with the split.
Yeah, so I think I'm doing a lot better than earlier in the year. I'd say I'm like feeling away a lot better. Like obviously once in a while I might not feel as motivated or like as what's the word? I may not feel as like fun playing the game, but like I think it's a pretty natural thing. It just comes and goes sometimes. But right now I think I'm feeling pretty good.
Jacob, you can go again.
And then just building on that, obviously, like obviously Team Liquid's had some, changes in the roster and such, and like Cold going up to head coach. So just how is the team atmosphere, and how have you been? Like, has it been okay for you as well? Like, has everything been okay, or has it still been a bit of a struggle with the roster changes?
So personally, with all the team changes, I don't think it really affected me too much. My goal was still the same, to try to win. I think the only thing, like the biggest thing that may have impacted me was like the way we play the game with different players, and um, obviously with Jat leaving, it was a bit sad, but it's not like it's not like he just completely left and there's like a hole left. We had Albert, our Hex defender, come up from Academy to help fill in the position. So personally, I think we've been doing really well as a whole team dealing with the situation. It's not like we've had any like necessarily a hard time or anything.
You can go, Jacob.
Yeah, so final question from me. You now, like, obviously today was a bit of an easy game with CLG, but you've got 100 Thieves and Cloud9 right for the next 2 days. So a bit of a tougher schedule. How are you guys feeling for that? I know 100 Thieves have looked a little bit iffy. Is that giving you guys confidence?
I wouldn't say, for me at least, I wouldn't say them looking at recently will give me the confidence like for the match individually, but it gives me like more. I see more of an opportunity to seize the top two spot. Definitely, I think I don't really overthink the match that's coming up soon. I just think what's happening, what we're doing as a team, and like what we're focusing on. But I guess it helps a little bit that they've been a bit shaky, but it's mostly about like the bigger picture and like this top two standings.
Okay, thank you. We have about 2 minutes left, just for your reference. Joseph, you can go.
I just wanted to get your opinion on AP carries like Syndra and Ziggs in the bot lane.
Yeah, so obviously they're different from traditional marksmen. They have like their own skill set. Generally, mages are really strong at the lost chopper spike, and they're generally more self-sufficient. That's why a champion like, I guess not one who you listed, but like Ziggs, he's really self-sufficient at the lost chopper. It's generally pretty hard to like force plays onto him because the wave is so good. And Syndra specifically, she has a really strong level 6 spike, and use that advantage to kind of like snowball 2v2 or 3v3 and try to burst. Like, that's her advantage burst. But I think as long as you have a strategy around it, it makes sense. There's always obviously the trade-off of making a marksman player off a marksman on a mage, like a less traditional thing. But as long as you have a strategy around it and you know how to play the matchups, I think it's not bad.
Joseph, you can go again. That'll be our last question.
All right. Following up on what you said where the ADC meta is pretty boring, what kind of changes would you want to see to bring power back to the bot lane?
I'm not sure exactly. Sometimes the game is just like that, and there's not much you could do. I'm fine with the meta as long as we have a strategy with at the top side stuff. But in terms of making bot lane maybe more exciting, I can't really see a clear way to make that happen.
Okay, so that wraps up our scrum. Thank you, Eddie, for answering all of our questions. We hope you have a good night.
Thank you.